Nerlens Noel came out, said he is going to sue his agent Rich Paul over $58 million lost in contract value. We're going to break down everything you need to know about the situation in today's video. So welcome everybody to the Amateur Hour Clips channel, where we do stream clips from the live streams. We are currently live that I'm talking on. We got people in the show. Thank you guys for being here live. Thank you guys for watching the Clips channel. But Nerlens Noel is suing his agent Rich Paul. Rich Paul did do this man dirty, but Nerlens Noel is suing over $58 million in lost money because he turned down a big contract. Basically, what Dennis Schroeder did, Nerlens Noel knows exactly the feeling because he did the exact same thing. So Nerlens Noel was playing for the 76ers and had a really good year with the Dallas Mavericks, where they were prepared to give him 4 years, $70 million. Now, if you're like me, you're thinking Nerlens Noel got offered 4 years, $70 million. That's crazy. That's a huge overpay, right? And it is a huge overpay. But Nerlens Noel said no thanks. He said no thanks. And the reason he said no thanks is because Rich Paul told him to. So Nerlens Noel's agent at the time, I don't know his name, got him the 4 year $70 million offer, which makes him, to me, one of the best agents the world has ever seen, to give Nerlens Noel, after his rookie deal, to get him a 4 year $70 million offer. But he signed with Rich Paul, fired that agent. Rich Paul said, no, don't sign that. Sign a cheap deal. You'll make more money next year. So Nerlens Noel, coming off his rookie deal, wasn't the smartest. So was at Philly, got traded to the Mavs here, made about $4 million in his last season's rookie deal. Instead of signing the 4 year $70 million contract, he signed a 1 year $4 million offer from the Dallas Mavericks. Just a 1 year to bet on himself to earn more money. Instead of doing really well and earning more money, he had a hand injury. The hand injury limited him to only 30 games, where he played like Nerlens Noel. You know, Nerlens Noel is a neat and tidy player, but he's nothing crazy, right? $70 million for Nerlens Noel is absolutely ridiculous. So that's what we know at this point. Regardless, no interest in Nerlens Noel after that $4 million contract. So he signs a minimum deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder to really try to boost his earnings. You know, just another, like, hey, that's all I can get. Like, let me try to earn something. And he was rewarded for that minimum deal with another minimum deal by the Oklahoma City Thunder, where he did, admittedly, start to play a bit better, which got him that $5 million deal, 1 year deal with the New York Knicks. And he had a really good season with the Knicks, fit the system that Tom Thibodeau instilled very well. Then he signed, I believe it was about $32 million over 3 years. Here it has it as 9, basically 3 years at 9. I believe it's a $32 million over 3 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhere in that $30 million range over 3 years. So if we take all of his earnings from this point here, so at this is the last season before he got offered 4 years $70 million. So he could have had $70 million combined over these 4 seasons here. Instead, at the end of that 3 year contract with the New York Knicks, where he's making about $30 million, he is only going to have made 35 plus that, about $40 million instead of that $70 million contract. So basically, what Nerlens Noel is pissed off about is this section here, where he could have been making $70 million, and instead he only made about 12, which is why Nerlens Noel is suing Rich Paul over the $58 million in lost value from contracts. Rich Paul really screwed this man over. Rich Paul is becoming poor Paul. A little bit, not really. I mean, Rich Paul is going to do his thing always. You know, as far as this situation goes, in terms of like actually suing the agent, I can't see Nerlens Noel winning this one. I mean, at the end of the day, Like if I'm Nerlens Noel, and I said the same thing about Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder turned down 4 years, $84 million, and instead signed $5.9 million with the Boston Celtics. Is that his agent's fault? Then I believe that, I believe it is a bit of the agent's fault. But players as well know the market. Players as well can understand who they are themselves. And knowing, you're Nerlens Noel, I believe that you got to understand that, how much are you really worth? Are you really going to get more than the $70 million? I said this about Dennis Schroeder. I mean, Dennis Schroeder turned $84 million. What was the maximum amount Dennis Schroeder would have made had he had like a career year last year? Which obviously he didn't. Max he would have made is like $90 million. I believe that the max Nerlens Noel could have made after a really good year with the Mavericks when he bet on himself for like $5 million. I really can't see like peak Nerlens Noel would make like 4 years 60, and he got offered 70. I seriously don't know where he got this sense that he could be worth more than 4 years $70 million. So at some point, your agent is obviously going to be the driving force. The player's opinion got to come before the agent. If the player goes, you know what, that's a lot of money, I feel like this is what I'm worth, I gotta just decide that I'm taking that contract because I feel like I don't want to risk it. Like, where was he really going to get extra money from? That was the most amount of money he was going to get. At the end of the day, I hope he has concrete proof to support his case, not just word of mouth. I agree. If he's taken this into a legal battle, he's got to have some sort of receipts about this. It's crazy how much he got screwed, and you feel bad for players like that because again, they don't really know any better, and an agent can really take advantage of them, and it could change the way agents operate, because a lot of agents do this. Rich Paul in particular has been criticized for consistently doing these sort of bet on yourself 1 year contracts, and obviously it's up to the player to kind of earn that. But when injuries happen, when an injury happens, it can have a serious effect on the player, and it did here for Nerlens Noel. And I feel bad for these players again who don't know any better, whose agents take advantage of them. In the end, it was Nerlens Noel's decision. Agents are there to advise, not decide. Again, you're right. I think the player got to take over that. These are the Clippers, Sixers and Rockets wanted to sign him, but couldn't contact Paul. Wow. Yeah, Rich Paul definitely isn't doing his job, but the guy isn't doing their job. Can you sue them, or is it just he's bad at your job? An employee is technically is the athlete the agent's client, or is the agent the player's client? Because I believe it's up to the player to make the decisions, and it's up to the player to hire the agent. The agent is obviously recruiting players, but it's up to the player fires the agent. So the agent is the player's client. That's what I mean. So Nerlens Noel, as being in charge of himself, needs to recognize this. And yeah, you're right, players fire agents. So fire him if he hasn't done so already. And if your employee is like fucking up, can you sue them? And I'm saying you can, but I don't know. I'm interested to see. This would be a very interesting precedent, because the precedent this would set if Nerlens Noel wins is that NBA agents are no longer going to feel inclined to take this route of bet on yourself 1 year contracts, because Rich Paul does it the most. However, other NBA agents also do this sort of tactic to get a bigger payday, in theory, not in practice in this example. So if Nerlens Noel wins this case, this will set a massive precedent in NBA agent landscape, so that you won't feel inclined to risk trying to get more money. Because look at Schroeder, look at Nerlens Noel. You don't want to turn out like those guys, and agents aren't going to want to be susceptible to getting sued. A big NBA PA problem. So but to me, bottom line is, it's up to Nerlens Noel to make the final decision. So I don't understand how he can sue Rich Paul over this. I feel like Nerlens Noel won't win, but it's going to be an interesting prospect to the NBA agent landscape, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. The agent's job is to act in the best interest of the client. Paul wasn't doing that, and it may have cost his boss money, I suppose. But you know, Rich Paul would say it is in his best interest to take that 1 year bet on yourself contract, because other players have done it and have earned, you know, a bigger contract. Gary Trent Jr. turned down like 14-15 million a year with the Blazers, bet on himself for the 1 year, and ended up getting an $18 million contract with the Raptors. So it works out in some cases. So that's what people need to decide they want to bet on. It's one thing if you actually receive a number of offers and choose the worst one. It's another not to receive as many offers to choose from because the agent won't get back to you. That's fucked up. I don't know about that. That's fucked up. I didn't know that happened. That's messed up though. But time will tell what goes on in this situation. I'm interested to see, as I'm sure many of you are. But thank you guys for watching another video on the Amateur Clips channel. If you want to watch the videos live, or the stuff live, the content live, you can go to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Amateur Sports, or you can go to the main YouTube channel on a road to 6,000 subscribers, Amateur Sports, for a ton of NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors. We'll see you again next time.